Hello everybody, welcome to What Culture Gaming. I'm Scott, I'm joined by Josh.
Hey man.
Hello. Now usually we're known for lists and news, and our news discussions tend to go on a little bit and be very in-depth, whereas our lists are very tight, so we thought, well, why not hybridize the two and have a bit of a breakdown where we both address like the biggest, boldest predictions for E3 2018. We've got quite a lot to get through, but we're going to try and keep it nice and snappy, and you guys can let us know what you think down in the comments as to what you want to see and which ones you think will come true and what's just a big load of madness. First up, number 10 is Devil May Cry 5. Now this was leaked on a actor's CV a whole bunch of months ago. A guy called Nils Hognestad, Niels Hognestad. Either way, he had Devil May Cry listed on his CV and he was going to be doing voice work for it. But a later leak then came out as to all sorts of details that were going to be in it. We're apparently getting a return to the style system of DMC3, and we're also returning to Albino Dante. Yeah. And it's basically the Devil May Cry that people wanted, like circa Devil May Cry 4, and you can just forget about 2013's DMC altogether. The last part that sort of nigh on confirms this is Capcom said that they want to roll out 2 major AAA games between now and next year. Yeah. And what else is it going to be, really? They don't have a whole lot of other dormant franchises unless we're going to get, I don't know, Lost Planet again.
I hope not. At 9, I've got Fable 4, which has been rumoured to be in development for a while from the guys at Playground Games, I think they are, the people in charge of Forza Horizon, which, you know, I know what you're thinking, that's a bit of a strange choice to helm a massive open-world, story-driven RPG, but that's a good thing in itself, because, you know, Lionhead have been closed down for 2 years now, and some might argue that their direction on the franchise kind of drove it into the ground a little bit after Fable 3 and, of course, the cancelled Fable Legends. So to see some fresh blood on this franchise with a new story-driven approach, after all, Microsoft need sort of a game that can rival the likes of Sony's The Last of Us, God of War.
They need something.
They just need something, don't they? Yeah. So I think we will see that at E3. I don't think we'll get any gameplay or anything, but a nice little teaser trailer saying this is real. Buy an Xbox One, please.
At number 8, I'm going to go with Fortnite on Switch. It's a foregone conclusion. It should have been there months ago. The fact that they haven't officially announced it is just madness. I think they're waiting for E3. But if you start doing a little bit of snooping online, there are a bunch of things that point to it happening. One of which was Nintendo's own presentation schedule actually leaked ahead of E3. It has a whole bunch of stuff on, like a new Star Fox game and some gameplay for Metroid Prime. But one of the coolest things, if you're a Fortnite fan, is that Fortnite is getting a gameplay demo. Now, we've seen Fortnite be ported onto phones, so there's no real reason for it not to be on the Switch.
I might even play it, Scott.
You should, mate.
I've already got it on the PlayStation 4 and I can't seem to get into it. But if I could play it on the train, on the bus, with a Wi-Fi connection, I'd do it.
I would assume that that's what they're banking on. I mean, it's the last vestige of any sort of space we've got left in this world that isn't infected by Fortnite, but it's about time Nintendo caught up with the times. So yes, I think that'll be, I don't know, it'll be there.
Great. At number 7, I've got Crystal Dynamics' Avengers project, which we've heard lots about. It is officially confirmed, but we've seen no real footage from
just
it.
CG renders.
Yes, exactly. They are working alongside Eidos Montreal, the guys behind Deus Ex. They've been working on this since they shipped Rise of the Tomb Raider. Marvel have already started to, you know, push the boat out a little bit with Spider-Man PS4, getting their superhero world up and running. I think it's time we see the Avengers, because Square have a presentation. They've only got the Tomb Raider game, and what else?
The CG trailer showed Thor's hammer and Iron Man's mask, I think, or a glove. So we can kind of assume that we'll probably be controlling the main Avengers. Yeah. But yeah, all of it's on the table.
I've got an even bolder prediction.
Good Lord!
I think this may even release in time for Avengers 4 next year. I know that's daft. It hasn't been in development for that long, but it would not help. I mean, it wouldn't not help. If it came out alongside a big movie, would it?
Well, no, I mean, that depends how they want to approach the marketing to it. Either it can fill the slot and remind people of how awesome Marvel and superheroes are for the rest of this year, or it could be something that comes out next year, and I don't know, depends how the Marvel movie is going to go. Infinity War didn't exactly end in the most nice place, so it depends how they want to go forward with the general tone of the feel of the Marvel movie.
Definitely.
Now, at number 6, I've got a soft reboot of Assassin's Creed. Now, this plays off the Walmart leak that happened a few weeks back, but all that was on there was a box art just saying Assassin's Creed. And so we said when we first wrote that up and first started talking about it, that it could be an unknown sequel, and they're going to announce the subtitle for it next time when they get to E3. But for the sake of bold predictions, I think that it might be a full-on soft reboot. I mean, Origins ended with the formation of the Hidden Ones, with the formation of the Assassin's Guild, and then there's a huge leap in time before we get to something like the Crusades. So they can fill all that out. And by calling it just Assassin's Creed, they're 1 year behind on the 10th year anniversary thing, but enough time has passed, and they could probably do with wiping the slate clean again.
At 5, I've got the new Bioshock, which hasn't officially been announced, but it was leaked by Jason Schreier when he was actually researching Hangar 13, the guys behind Mafia 3, and he found out that another 2K studio, a secret 2K studio, was working on the next Bioshock. We've got no idea what it is, but my prediction is that we will find out. Maybe just a teaser of like the title, you know, a bit of logo, a bit of logo art.
A little logo for the lads.
I think we'll find out what it's called and who's developing it by the time E3's over.
So number 4 is the return of ROCKSTEADY and ROCKSTEADY's Superman. Now I know that we've already talked about this, but it's such an important, such a bold thing to bring back. Like ROCKSTEADY have been away for far too long. Their last game was Arkham Knight way back in 2015, and assumedly they would have been working on something else beforehand. The main thing with gameplay with this is that they've apparently designed a way for you to fight in the skies. There's going to be destructible environments, not too much. They don't want to remind you of the end of Man of Steel too much, but there's going to be destructible environments. There's going to be some sort of in-air combat system, and there'll be some things where you're going up against Brainiac, and you're going to be focusing on Superman rather than Clark Kent. It kind of sounds like they're doing for Superman what they did for Arkham, or what the new Spider game's going to do for Spider-Man. So with ROCKSTEADY behind it, I mean, they're a team with a hell of a caliber. Even if you were divided on Arkham Knight, like the general spit and polish on that game is incredible. So I'm pretty psyched and I think it's going to happen. Woo! Bosh!
At 3, I've got Respawn's Star Wars game, which unfortunately has a lot of baggage behind it because Visceral Games were originally creating their own Star Wars game, a third-person story-driven action game, which got canned, and that was a big tragedy, and instead EA are pushing forward on Respawn's vision, which was apparently further along in development, even though they had started work on it beforehand. Right. I think Amy Hennig's Star Wars game was in development for around 3 years proper, so that sort of tells me that we could be seeing the Respawn's game sooner rather than later, and I'm kind of excited for it, even though it sounds like EA are going to try their best to be EA and sort of drive it into the ground with kind of like games as service, microtransactions and stuff. But at the end of the day, Respawn are great.
Yes.
Star Wars is great, and I feel like they can still make a great game.
At number 2, I've got Bethesda's Starfield. Now, we know next to nothing about this other than that it's basically Bethesda taking it to the stars and doing for a Mass Effect style, you know, interlocked, interracial universe what they have done for Fantasy Landscapes and Wastelands. It makes the most sense as far as I'm concerned. They've explored the whole future punk thing, like Mad Max style thing with Fallout, and we've obviously seen, you know, their legacy is ironclad with Elder Scrolls. It's about time they did something that was not necessarily completely different, but at least the setting is completely different. But the most interesting thing with this is that it apparently ties both the laws together of Elder Scrolls and Fallout, and says that they're all one big chronology. It's all tied, and that the Starfield stuff is also on the outside. So I
keep going back and forth on that. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I hate it. Like, it's neat, it's cool, but I don't know if those individual universes lose something by being so intricately connected. But then they could Bioshock Infinite and make it really excellent.
Potentially. We've actually got a video coming up soon about all sorts of shared universe fan theories that bring things together. And lo and behold, there's already one that ties Elder Scrolls and Fallout together in a way that I really liked, but obviously it's going to divide people. But either way, it seems like, I mean, we know how Bethesda games operate at this point. If you take all the things that you love and hate about Bethesda and put them into a space framework, there's a hell of a gap left after Mass Effect died and, you know, shit itself to death. So it's about time someone else came in and started filling that gap. Who better than Bethesda?
At number 1, I've got Bully 2.
Oh, of course!
Look, mate, I know what you're thinking.
Of course.
Rockstar have their hands full on Red Dead Redemption 2. Apparently that is a full-on Rockstar Studios production, not just Rockstar San Diego. They've got everyone working on this game and have been for 8 years. Okay. But that doesn't mean they've got a little cheeky something on the side, you know? A little passion project in development, which could be Bully. They keep talking about how much they want to revisit the franchise. We have seen some sort of leaked concept art floating around the internet. And it's time.
It's one of those things where, you know, I mean, if you were in your sort of teens when Bully first came out, you might remember all the ridiculous amount of outrage that surrounded that game, all the stuff with the lawyer called Jack Thompson trying to get it barred and banned, all the stuff to do with it being this child violence simulator and all that kind of thing. The only thing that might make a studio trepidatious when it comes to revisiting that stuff is that with better rendering tech and graphics and immersion comes, like, you know, reinvigorates that entire conversation and says like, oh, hey, look, everything looks more realistic when you lamp that child in the face. And there's all that, so they kind of have to reapproach that, and you know, Rockstar never wants to have a public face. They're very much a company that sticks to themselves, and because they went through that both with Bully and Manhunt, you know, Manhunt 1 and 2, it might be something that means that's why they've stayed back. I'd assume that, I mean, as much as they want to say that all the Rockstar studios are focusing on Red Dead, the amount of money that Rockstar make, there's not a game in existence that takes all that money.
No.
So they have to be doing something else with it. You can't there's no way that Red Dead 2 costs, what would it be, like a few $1 billion? Like they make like
point,
how many million a day? Like, there has to be something else cooking away at their tower.
I bet Red Dead Redemption 2 is the most expensive game of all time, though, when it comes out. That's going to cost a bomb.
Possibly. But regardless, you guys can let us know what you think down in the comments below. Which ones do you see coming true and which do you not want to see at all? And what do you want to see yourself? Either way, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
I've been Josh from WhatCulture.com.
Oh, catch you guys soon.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, wasn't that something? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe below, and also the people who made this lovely video, they're appearing right here. But if you're thinking to yourself, I want to see more content, Jules, then why not look above my head, as there probably is some. I don't know. I can't see it. Until next time.